We are so excited to be able to talk about something that Lori and I have both been in a position where we were awkward around and didn't really know how to do it. And that is building and attracting community and collaborations and networking for where you want to go versus where you're at. I feel like, and Lori, tell me if you agree. I feel like it is really easy to make friends, like, when you're in college or even, like, your first job or something, but then as you go through life, it almost seems like it's harder to connect, like, there's guards up with people. We get more awkward even though most of us end up feeling a little more confident. It's really weird.
Oh my God. This is my jam because you don't have that common thing to bond over. Like if you think about it, in grade school, we're like forced into at recess the sandbox together and we're forced on sports teams. And in college, we're in dorm rooms and classes. And it's this continual like every single day that you see people that it creates like a common bond, especially when you're going through experiences with people. That's what really connects you. You know, you think back to how you've made all of your friends. It's probably because you went through something that was a longer time period together. You probably had to go through something together. You were learning something together. So it kind of lumps you into this group where you have to kind of connect. And a lot of times, a lot of people that I know, a lot of women that I know made their friends from being on teams or different things like that throughout sports or whatever they did competitively, or maybe they were in dance or whatever that looks like. And they made friends through that because those are experiences that push you together. Not only that, but a lot of times they'll have to work together and create those connections that maybe you would have never had with somebody. And so, how do we duplicate things like that as an adult when it's really like you have to create these, like, maybe you have this one-off experience or a party and you just expect like, oh, we hit it off and now life is just going to like throw us together and we should be best friends. And no, it's like, if you don't have something that takes that same path of what you did when you were younger, or something that continually is going to build on your relationship together and let you go through different experiences together and make sure that you're connecting, then we're not going to create those same types of friends. And that's where the disconnect just comes in. Is it's like, where do we even start? It's really overwhelming, right? And I know that a lot of things that I've talked about in the past have been like, go to a workout class and make sure you go at the same time and you're going to start seeing the same people, and naturally you're going to start a conversation and then keep up with that conversation and you can network in that way. That's a really beautiful way to do it. But sometimes we want to be more intentional, and sometimes we don't just want to stay in that workout crowd. So I have a lot of different tips, but I want to just stop there for a sec.
Yeah, I mean, I've done because as a gym rat, right? I've
Yeah.
done that thing, but I love when you said the word intentional.
Mm.
It wasn't like I wasn't intentionally even stating the kind of people I wanted in my life. So a lot of the people I was attracting were nice, they're fun,
Mhm.
they're great people to socialize with, they're fun to joke around with, but they weren't going after the same goals I was in. In fact, they would make comments like, "God, all you do is work, you
Mhm.
work so much, you need to just chill." So we weren't really connecting on that level, and
Mhm.
so it was like, okay, I didn't keep up with those friendships because it became awkward, and in a sense, it was like a waste of time, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of people watching this right now feel the same way, where it's like, I
Mhm.
have people in my life, maybe you're the most successful person in your crowd, and that's where I was,
Mhm.
and my ego, there was the old me kinda, like, liked that in a way. I know it sounds bad, but it's facts. I kinda
Yeah,
liked it,
I've totally been there. Mhm.
but then Tiffany was putting the credit card down for every meal when I wanted to go on trips or really cool in-person live events that were higher ticket, they couldn't afford to go, and
Mhm.
so then I would end up going alone. So what about the intention? Help take us through that initial phase, because I think everything starts with an intention, don't you?
Yes, I love that you pointed that up because that's one of the most important things when we have a desire to connect, or when we're finding that we think we're starting to connect, or maybe we go to these networking things, or like you said, you're at the gym, you're at the classes, you're meeting these people, but then you're still not feeling like fulfilled. You're still not getting the connections that you want. And it's really important to do exactly what you said and assess your life and say, where exactly do I want more support? And what type of people do I want to connect with? And I know for me, Tiffany, I was in the exact same boat. Like, I had great workout people. I had people that I could like go hang with. I even had some people who I could go like adventure vacation with. But I really, really wanted women that would support my business goals. And I wanted to write a book at the time. I wanted to expand my business. Especially now with what I'm doing, I want to be with other founders of women who have made products. So what does that look like? So for me, it's like assessing, okay, I'm really looking for women to be friends with who want to have a business, grow their business, and not just grow their business a little, but I want people who don't put a cap on themselves. I want people who are thinking in 7 and 8 figures and beyond. So that's a totally different place that you are going to be putting all of your energy, because just like anything else, if we don't know exactly what we want, we have a finite amount of energy during the day, and you're not going to be able to put all of your, actions and your thoughts all over the place. You're not going to get the results that you want unless you really laser focus in on exactly what you want and start switching everything that you do, the way that you're thinking, who you're communicating with, and what you're listening to, over to this idea of what it is that you want. So let's say you're like us, you want to start hanging out with different business women who, like I said, maybe don't put a cap on themselves and are thinking really big. So you're going to have to start doing the work and figuring out, where in the heck are these women? And once you start thinking about it, and once you start putting that on your radar, I promise you, it is not going to take very long for you to find them. I mean, it doesn't take long. Even on Instagram, we can find one person and then you kind of, stalk their friends and who's commenting and who they hang out with and click on all their pictures and be that crazy stalker to figure out exactly who you should start following, what they're doing, what events they're going to, what offerings they have. So let's talk about, I've kind of summarized this because I haven't come up with terms for it yet, but maybe these are just the terms. We're going to talk in level 1, level 2, and level 3. And this is just about the phases of your life that you're in. So a level 1 is a beginner. Like, they've just started on their journey. They just kind of set the intention of, okay, these are the women that I want to be around. I don't have a lot of experience. Maybe I haven't really done much in this business yet. I don't quite have my people around me. I don't have my tribe around me yet. Level 2 is, I've done some work. I have some people that I've connected with. I've taken these courses. I've gone to these events. I've had a little bit of success in my business. I'm probably in the, 6-figure range at this point, or I'm either just broken into it or you're like mid-range. And let's just say that level 3 is like, these are the people everybody's kind of following. These are the people that are teaching the level 1s and the level 2s how to become a level 3. They're the hashtag goals, right? They're the people that we all want to get to that level and be around. And we're like, maybe one day I want that friend. That would be so cool if I could find myself like with them over in Greece or wherever the heck you're seeing them with all of these incredible people. So for that level 1, when you want to start like getting into this group, it feels daunting. I literally remember looking at this group of women who were all authors and all speakers, and it just all seemed like they were just like out in the world and best friends. And I was like, how do I get, as a level 1, being like, how do I get into that friend group, right? Like, without the experience. And I wanted to just like skip the line. I'm here to tell you, there is no skipping the line. So as much as we're like, look at me, see me, I'm so great.
In fact, that's going to put you at the end of the line.
Oh, real fast. Like, it's going to either get you blocked or put you to the line. And now I can see that. But in the beginning, it was like, yeah, but I've had experience, over here and in fitness, but I'm great at this. And that's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know that, yes, you recognize yourself in them, and that, yes, you feel like you would fit in and they would like you, except there's a whole like background of experience that you kind of need to have in order to be able to add value to those people's lives. Because at a level 3, At a level 3, those people are looking for something called an equal energy exchange. You can call it an equal energy exchange. You can call it an equal value exchange. And the people that they're going to hang around personally, these are the people that are going to be like, honestly, their best friends. These are going to be the people that they want to do business with. Those people will have to offer the same amount of value that they are able to offer them. So let's say a level 3, they've got the audience, they have money to invest, they have ideas, they have experience, and most of all, they have an incredible network. And if the person who is coming into their life who is going to be close, I'm not saying it can't be a client, I'm not saying it can't be someone that they help, but those people where we want to be like besties with them, right? Like, those messages you get like, I know we would be besties. And they just like started their journey. And you're like, okay, but I feel like I might be pouring into you and giving you a lot of value. And I'm just teaching you. Like, it feels more like a teacher client rather than a bestie relationship. So, where we're trying to get you to is being able to offer that huge value so that you can then be in this friend group and everything feels equal. It doesn't feel like one person is more like a client and really opening every single door in this network that they've built for 10, 15 years to someone who hasn't done any work. So,
Because what happens is, and I know you being a longtime podcaster with Earn Your Happy, and I have a popular show I've had for 4 years. I mean, the amount of I know you get probably thousands of people pitching to be on the
mhm,
show. This is a good example for you guys to hear in terms of energy exchange.
yes.
And also how to not get on shows is pitching when you have your audience is small, you're just starting, and you're telling me you want to be on my show because you can get something from being on my show. You get exposure to a minimum, of 15,000 unique downloads per episode. On your show, you have millions and millions and millions of downloads. It's like, that
Mhm.
doesn't feel good. It will make the other person feel almost used and taken
Yes.
advantage of. So would that be a good example of that energy exchange you're talking about?
That is literally a perfect example. So, and just to continue on with that example, we'll pop back to the different levels, but it's truly the way that you would go about pitching is really so if I wanted to be on Tiffany's show, right? I would say, what are her goals? Oh, does she want to grow her show right now? How could I, if I was to pitch her a show that her would be an audience fit once I figured out who her audience was and exactly what shows were doing well and what topics were doing well, how could I create a show for her or topics for her that I could pitch for myself? But then how could I also take that show and show her how I'm going to get that in front of a new audience that maybe she wouldn't reach? Or how am I going to promote that show? So maybe I'm going to write 10 different ways that I'm going to go and promote it. So that, let's just say I am a level 1 and I'm pitching to you, but I've got a great story. It's something your audience has never heard. And I'm literally going to go above and beyond. Like, I'm even going to run ads to this thing for you. Like, I'm going to email it. I'm going to see who else can email it. I'm going to put it on my text list. I might run an ad. I might do things that are so above and beyond that might be the one time that it gets that attention. Who's like, you know what? This feels like a really good deal to me. Like, you kind of nailed it. Like, you have everything that I want. This is something my audience hasn't heard and it adds so much value. And this is so cool that you're going to go and do this. So yeah, I'll give you a chance, right? Like, those are the ways that it's not that you can't get in. It's that you really do need to go above and beyond to figure out what that value is that they are looking for and what feels good for that person. So back to the, what the level 3s are. And if you're a level 1 trying to skip the line, the thing that I figured out when I was a level 1 is that if I wanted to be in the rooms with the level 3s, I was going to pay for it. Most likely, most
Fact.
likely I was going to have to pay for it. And you know what? I wish people would have told me all of this sooner, like everything that we're talking about, because it would have saved me a lot of heartache and realization that, well, of course, just like I want to be having those high level conversations, they want to be having conversations that are way over my head that I haven't even experienced, or I can't add that value to them. So how can I go and add value to the level 3? Well, right now in my current state, it's really to pay and be their client because they want to serve people at my level. and they have most likely have products for you. They most likely have events for you, or they most likely have podcasts. So I would always just go crazy on their podcasts, on their events, and on their courses. And that's one of the big ways that you can start getting on their radar is just by being a client. And Tiff, I know that once you have a client who really shows up, like they do the work and you see them out in the world doing the work, you want to help them. Like
Absolutely.
you're more willing to help them. So, we have so many people who've been in our Fast Foundations mastermind that we're like, oh, okay, you like showed up in there and you paid the money and you showed that you were committed. I am so much more likely to go and be on your podcast or go make a connection if it feels good and it feels, like it's earned or valuable for both parties. So with that said, that's going to be one of your biggest ways that you're going to do it. Another way as a level 1 to a level 3 is looking at people maybe you follow on Instagram, looking at people that you really love, seeing what events they're doing, what products they're pushing, and start without even asking, promoting those things for them. Do swipe ups to them, promote them on Instagram, send people to it, put it in your stories all the time and tag them. I can't tell you how many times, like maybe I've tagged someone 10 plus times. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much for always doing that. And you're like, wait, did this woman just write back to me? And all of a sudden you're on the radar. Doesn't mean anything is happening. It just means you're on the radar. Now continue on with that. So something that I recommend for level 1s is to actually write your intentional list of whose radar you would love to eventually be on. So let's say that you want to write a book in 2 to 3 years. And you're like, oh my God, can you even imagine if Gabby Bernstein wrote my foreword? So if that is your 2 to 3 year goal for when you write your book, the things that you would start doing now, and I'm telling you have to think this far out, right? Because you need to start creating your world and your atmosphere and like who's in your network. And so the things that you would do now is, oh my gosh, this is a real example. Gabby Bernstein just came out with a book writing course where she also gets on live once in a while. It's like, get the course, show up in the lives, be a really good student, and then also see if she's starting to affiliate for that course. They're like, hey, would you ever affiliate for this course? I'd love to push it out to my friends because I know how much it changed my life. So real-time example, I'm actually sharing this, not this exact story, but this is exactly what I did with her, and Gabby Bernstein forwarded my book. So I knew that I wanted her to forward my book. And I also knew that I wanted to take all of her classes. So I took her classes. I affiliated her programs. I was so determined to be a top affiliate so that she knew my name and she just knew me personally and that it was a huge value add to her because I was not only pushing the course that she wants to help more people with, but it also was making her money and it's her business.
And we notice when people are making us money.
We notice really fast. And we're super excited and we can't wait to like help them. It's so exciting. It's like, you guys, money is one of the most supportive things that you can do for people buying courses, affiliating, all of the things. And you'll see, you can't wait to help the people who, when you have courses, will affiliate and do all of those things as well. So it's just you create this beautiful cycle. So I ended up doing that and also ended up doing some coaching so that it didn't feel bad when I asked her. It felt so like, hey, I have shown up every time that she came to Los Angeles for one of her book tours, which was 3 different times. I brought 10 plus people. She was all about it. She was just like, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Like you do all of these things. She helped connect me to some publishers. So that's how a level 1 throughout the years was able to create that so that I could get help when I needed to write a book. And I was like, hey, and you guys, books aren't just about the greatest book. It's about the network that you have. It's about, oh, wow. Okay. She's actually got someone vouching for her, which is how I ended up getting a book deal. I had about 4 or 5 people like that who I had done the exact same thing to, the exact same type of like value exchange and courses or whatever that looks like throughout a long period of time. I just want to share the period of time. It was anywhere from, 2 to 5 years for this network. So don't get overwhelmed because you can start building it now. And there's a lot of little things you can do along the way. But this is how a true network is built, as you really start showing up on those radars. And the reason that I ended up getting that book, like I said, is because I got those 5 people to kind of write in and vouch for me and be like, yes, this person's going to show up. They're going to sell the book. They're going to make sure it gets out into the world. They've got a great message. I know they've got a great, track record out in the world. So a lot of us think like it's just, oh, you were lucky, or oh, your book story must have been so
Well,
great.
or people looking at you on Instagram, right? They would
Yeah.
go, well, it's because you have so many followers, you have the blue
Yeah.
check. And it's like, there's a lot of people have a lot of followers and a lot of blue. I mean, there's a lot of people have no idea who the hell you are. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean,
Oh, totally.
it's not like
So
you're
many
J-Lo,
people.
right? I mean, it's
So,
like, so this is it sounds like to sum up that level one to level, even level two or three thing,
yes,
you're saying one of the key things you're saying is you're playing a long game. So don't be
always.
like doing one or two shout outs or
Mhm.
buying one course and then getting resentful or even entitled
Mhm.
thinking, and you've probably had that happen through your career. I've had even clients of mine be hurt or offended that I've had other clients on my show and
Yep.
not them without them really seeing the big picture behind the scenes.
Yeah, I love that you said that too, because it really is, you can't take anything personal in any of this, because what is, you could think you're doing all the things. And I'll tell you, I've done this with other people and it hasn't been a fit, right? Because maybe I wanted one thing, but I was off with what they wanted. And you just have to move forward. You can't take it personally. You have to be grateful for the value that you had received from them. So not everybody is going to do the reciprocation thing, nor are they supposed to, nor are they, do they need to or are entitled to. So that's how a level one can start getting on a level three. And then a level one, the biggest tip for you is that you need to network with other level ones. This is going to be your superpower. Like, go find them, go lock arms. And one of the biggest things that really helped me is like collaborating with them. Have them speak at your events. You guys both want to launch events. You're in this, you're talking from the same place, like to the same type of audience. So lock arms, see what you can cross promote and grow together. It's going to make your journey so much more fun. So level 2 and 3 go a little bit faster because level 1 obviously has all of these things that they need to be thinking of on their radar. So just backtrack real quick. Level 1, make sure you make that list of your intent, like intentionally where these people are and who it is. And then I even would say to go as far, if this is a weakness, pop it in your calendar on Mondays to go and do those value adds through Instagram. Like, go and put them on your stories, go and like all their stuff, and just have your little list and dedicate an hour to it every week. It's going to blow your freaking mind how quick your network builds, and in a few years, what you're going to be able to do with that. So level 2, you've got some success. Your biggest thing is definitely going to be going into those level 3s and adding value, and learning from them, maybe one-on-one coaching with some of the ones that you really love who can add a lot of value. This is where you've made some money. You're really showing up. I know that one of my biggest things was, like I said, like coaching one-on-one with Gabby Bernstein, joining a Lewis Howes mastermind for being able to be proximity with people. This is huge. This is where you can kind of start rubbing shoulders with people. You've got a little bit of dough to be able to put your money where your mouth is, no pun intended, and really start showing up. Exactly. I love that it's on that finger. She's got her money ring on. And so this is going to be huge for you to start really showing up in those level 3 networks. But also, now you've got other level 2s with you who they also have an audience. Like, go and find them, collaborate with them, and don't forget to put them on your list of people that you want to be intentional with to start these groups. I think level 2s creating masterminds among themselves to create support, and maybe being able to invite in a level 3, or just start really maybe going through level 3 materials together or learning from them together. That's going to be where you guys, I just feel like exponential growth can be made together, because you both have the audiences and you're starting to really get those eyes on you, and you can be up and comers together. And that's really exciting. So level 2s also go back to level 1s and remember that you were a level 1. And when you spot a level 1 who is doing big things and taking big action, try to get them up to your level faster.
Oh, I love that you're saying this. This is paying it forward, people.
Yes. And that, you guys, I'm telling you, you do that with a level 1. And I have seen so many of those people go past me somewhere else. And I'm like, I'm just so glad I helped them, because now look at how great this is. I'm so proud. I feel so freaking great that I got to be a part of their journey. And cool, if they're, out in the world doing great stuff, they can invite me to it too. And that's freaking awesome. But nothing feels better than that. So there's only so much energy that you have. So just be aware of who those level ones are. And then you need to start being intentional with, okay, you know what? They're doing big things. I'm going to give my time to these people. That also brings in some like, why aren't they giving time to these other people who were maybe took your courses? That's going to be one of the biggest lessons and journeys and boundaries. And it's not easy, but you have to get clear on who you want to help and why. And then you have to let it be okay that other people are upset that you are not helping. And you also have to let it be okay that certain level threes are never going to pay attention to you, no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you love their stuff or pay for their stuff. You're just not their fit. And that is okay. That's a great lesson that a year after the sting or whatever it feels like or whatever happened, you're going to be like, oh, I get it. Like I so get so many reasons why a lot of people maybe haven't connected with me or it didn't resonate or great, because it wasn't meant to happen, just wasn't supposed to happen. So then you get to the level threes, and obviously level threes, I think there's beyond level threes as well, by the way. So level threes are always kind of working together and then also trying to get to those level fours. But I think this is mainly a level one and level two conversation
I
because the
agree.
level
Yeah.
three is really where we want to aspire to be. So that's kind of my synopsis on everything that I feel about networking.
When you see people who are level 2s,
Mhm.
there's a lot of level 2s watching, and we're not saying one level's better than the other, by the way.
No,
We
it's the
just
time and the
creatively
journey.
didn't come up with some fancy name for them. So that's right. And so it's like being gold on American Airlines versus platinum, that kind of a
Right.
thing. Which I made platinum pro, by the way, for anyone who cares.
Oh,
I was very impressed with myself.
yes.
Really, all that means is I spent a crap ton of money traveling.
Yep.
But for people who are at level 2 to level 3, I wanna round this out with mistakes.
Mm,
So, I'll start and share a really really embarrassing
I've
mistake
got some.
that I made. I'm an introvert, which most
Mm.
people are shocked by. So, I can and as a former TV newscaster, and someone who was like a local celebrity, so to speak, I know how it felt when people would come up to me
Mm,
and I wasn't in the mood, and I projected that onto other level 3s and 4s who I was at events or
mm,
maybe living in LA. I may have run in, seen someone at a restaurant or something and
mm.
wanted to go up to them, but I stopped because I went back in my memory bank of, oh god, but, like, I hated when people just came up to me, and there were so many annoying people who came up to me, and I don't wanna be that person. So, in my own fear of not wanting to be that person, I basically negated my
Mm.
opportunity of being able to potentially build rapport with a level 3, level 4.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I love that. I've absolutely done that, especially as an introvert. I'm like, oh, I don't want to bother them. And there's great ways to approach people, right? I know that I love when people just say, "Hey, I just wanted to say hi. Love all the value that you've given me in my life. My name's Lori," and that's like that's it. Maybe you just say something really nice that they've added value to you and exactly how they've done that. And you kind of leave it there. I will tell you that more people than not would say, "Oh my gosh, what's your name? Tell me about you." That's so great because it doesn't feel like number one, you're not going to leave. Number two, you're being creepy. Like it feels good, right? That feels good to know. I know that, Tiffany, you podcast, you like to know when people love your show. Like wouldn't you rather know if you were in an airport that someone who loved your show was sitting next to you, or would you rather they stay quiet? Like if they said it
Listen,
in a
I
great
had
way.
that happen to me, which I was, like, really vibing myself after that, and I'm like the Unabomber on an airplane, like, I have Bose headphones, a hoodie over my head, like, I have every signal not to talk to me,
Right.
and this woman next to me started talking to me, of all places, right? Like, I can't move, I'm in a
Right.
seat, and even with me being in that mode and being that kind of a traveler, I was so humbled
Mm,
and it was so beautiful, and I
mhm.
loved it, and I didn't feel it was weird, and she was a little chattier than my liking, but I still wasn't mad at it.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so I'm going to share one of what I think is the biggest mistakes on when you're learning to connect.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. So when you are, let's say, even amongst this will usually happen amongst level twos who are now getting into a level three type of life. Sometimes other level twos will see, and I'm just saying, remember, this is about experience and timeline, not about where you're at, just who you are. Level twos won't have had to make a lot of connections, and maybe they've never had somebody who other people in their life now are also clamoring to be around. So let's say there's a lot of level twos and you've broken into a bit of a level three friendship. And what happens now is you now have their contact and maybe you have their phone number. Maybe people see that you guys hang out together. Maybe they know that you guys have each other's emails and all of those things. And so your other level two friend is like, I have an event or I have this, or I want to connect with them, or can you just connect me? Because I know that I could add value in this way. And you make the mistake of not asking the level three if they can be connected. And what happens a lot is people go, hey, this will happen in email all the time. Hey, I'm connecting you to my friend Sarah who runs X, Y, and Z, and she wants you to be a speaker here, or she wants to see if you can do this. And you're like, oh my God, what? Why didn't you ask if you could connect me? Because now my inbox is full of these connections that I don't actually want or have time for, that I have to now take time to find a loving no, which takes a lot of work to respond back and be like, oh, you connected me assuming that I would do this. And now I have to say no and be weird. And I have zero time for this person in my life. So it's kind of like, it adds so much work to people's lives if you don't ask for the connection. Or maybe you just know it would not vibe. And you're like, if they would have asked me, I would have been like, yeah, I'm super not interested. Or maybe that person's not for me. Or maybe you've heard things about them. Or maybe you don't want them in your atmosphere. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Whenever you are connecting anyone, I don't care if it's level one to level one, you always are supposed to, the etiquette is to ask, hey, I have this friend who has a podcast. She's wondering if you would ever be on it. But before I even think of making the connection, is that something that you would be interested in? Or do you just want me to decline and say, I won't connect you? Especially as you start getting those level three and beyond contacts, when you really start to grow, it is like, I guard those with my life. A lot of them I won't even ask. I won't even, even though I'm getting asked 20 times for someone to connect me or for someone to be connected to, I don't know, Allie Webb, right? Because I'm podcasting with her right now. So I'm literally getting asked all the time for people to connect. A lot of times I will not even ask her at all because it just takes a ton of time. And I'm like, I'm not going to be that gatekeeper. And it's just, that's not what she's expecting out of a friendship. So you have to remember, like, to keep their energy safe and contained, and that they're not just here to now be at someone's beck and call because it would help promote somebody else's business. So I think that's a really huge thing to remember.
Wow. I mean, you guys better be taking notes. If you love this episode and this refreshing conversation, pass this on to a friend. Take a screenshot and tag both myself and Lori Harder at Project Me with Tiffany and at Lori Harder on Instagram, on Facebook, on all of the things. And I have a bonus surprise giveaway that is almost over. So it's your last chance to do it. When you leave a written review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts and you leave your name in the review or your Instagram or TikTok handle, take a screenshot of it and email it to us at support@projectmewithtiffany.com. I will give you my brand new, never released, Work Less While Making More printable workbook for free, and this will soon be for sale. All the details and that email where you need to send this to are right in the show notes. It just takes a few seconds to leave a review, and you can wait until I have the workbook for sale and just buy it. But why do that when in 30 seconds you can show your appreciation and gratitude for this episode, for the show, help it grow, show your gratitude for the realness that goes on in here, and get an incredible gift from me for free that is of great value and will move the needle in your business.